We've experienced a pretty historic comeback rally over the past month or so, and you can really feel the excitement and the momentum picking back up behind hypergrowth stocks and small to mid caps, which are some of our favorites over here at Waves Cap. We've had plenty of exposure through common shares and call options in the Waves portfolio, as many of you know. So obviously, with that in mind, it's been a good month, but there are a few names, particularly in the AI sector, that I've been looking to picking up some call options on. And I want to talk about those today. I want to talk about some pullback targets I have for some of these names, which are Coinbase, the ARK Innovation ETF, AMD, Applied Digital, and SoundHound. And just for full transparency, I thought of this video yesterday when I wrote this newsletter talking about sharking up some calls. I was expecting a short-term pullback, which we got a lot sooner than later. The fear and greed index was getting greedy. We were getting a little overbought on the Qs. And I was excited to redeploy some of the put profits from my TQQQ put position today to some of the names that we're going to be talking about. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. I will say that I still think these do have a bit more room to fall in some of these cases. And of course, we'll talk about those price targets. But I did shark up some call options today. The Waves portfolio got a massive makeover, which is why I don't think the existing subscribers would be too mad about me sharing this. This is just an example of what our daily newsletters look like. If you've been thinking about joining, this will just give you an idea of what I throw down there every day. I love what I do. And if you want to join Waves Cap, if you want a full breakdown of my entire personal portfolio, all call options, put options, stock positions, cryptocurrency positions, then hit the first link in the description of this video. It'll also be in my pinned comment. Join the team. It's my complete portfolio, daily trade alerts, email newsletters, $15 a month. I do swing trade options. That is my primary form of trading on top of just the common share portfolio I have for retirement with names like Coinbase, Palantir, many of the names we like here on the channel. Inside of it, it's $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months. It's completely up to you. And if you do join, welcome to the team. If not, I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay, so the first name we are going to be discussing is Coinbase. And I just want to let you guys know that I did not pick up any Coinbase call options, although we did see a pullback. As I just said, we do have, where is my other newsie? This is from the 13th, where I was really talking about picking up some calls and stuff. But as you can see here, this is a screenshot from the stock portfolio that's just a small segment, as I'm sure you can assume, of the full portfolio on Teachable. But you can see here, Coinbase is 20% of my overall portfolio. It's been growing a lot. Obviously, the good news of them getting the inclusion to the S&P 500, and the stock popped like 20% a couple of days ago at the time of recording. Good news for the common share portfolio. But yes, I just want to make it clear, I actually don't even plan on picking up Coinbase call options. I just wanted to touch on Coinbase as kind of a segue into a name that I did just pick up some call options on, and that's the ARK Innovation ETF. But I did want to touch on Coinbase first because one of my favorite technical patterns just, once again, has come to fruition, and that is a prior line of resistance being tested as new support. Okay, as many of you know, this is what I deem to be my favorite. Where is it? This might be, okay, it is this one. This might be my favorite technical trading pattern, and it is broken lines of either resistance or support being tested as whatever the opposite is. So this works both ways. In this case, it is broken resistance becoming new supports. Heads up, this is a members only trader tips video. It's different than the newsletter, but that's $5 a month. You can hit the join button below this video for the majority of the videos I post nowadays are members exclusive, including these trader tips videos. So yeah, just a heads up, another little plug there. Anyway, Coinbase just perfectly executed this. And this isn't to say that it's not possible that we fall lower, because this market's been wild. Anything can happen. But the way things are looking with Coinbase, we've just retested this line of broken support as new resistance. And you're perfectly, I'll go to 4 hour just to see just how, like, the perfection here, like this absolute trend line, which is in this case another, that's this video right here, absolute and conservative trend lines. This line of absolute resistance was perfectly tested as new short-term support following a break of that line of resistance. And from here, I think that this inverse head and shoulders pattern that we're looking at just has more room to play out. This also makes sense too. This was like the textbook resolution kind of the first leg of what I would deem to be the arm of this inverse head and shoulders. But I still think we have more room to grow. We're going to be looking at more inverse head and shoulders here in a minute on some of these other tickers. But Coinbase, I think, has more room to grow. Again, I'm not trading call options on Coinbase. I'm happy to ride my common shares with an average purchase price of $80. Those things are, have already 3x'd, so there's nothing to complain about there. And I'm a fan of the team. They were a supporter of the channel many moons ago during the heyday of that 2021 crypto rally, and they've always been good to me. So shout out to Coinbase, good stuff there. Credit where credit's due. They deserve it. S&P 500 inclusion is huge. Anyway, that relays us into ARK. And I was talking about ARK and Coinbase both being members, Coinbase and Palantir, which I made a recent video about, made plenty of videos about Palantir, I guess. But Palantir and Coinbase are members of the ARK Innovation ETF on top of another basket of calls. You can just go Google the ARK Innovation ETF and you can see the full breakdown of their portfolio. Regardless, ARK is showing a very, very promising macro uptrend. I just want to zoom out here quickly to show you guys how significantly below that 2021 crazy hype cycle rally high Palantir is now. So the all-time high was about 160. We're currently sitting at $56. Still well below that previous all-time high. And really, when you're going back even before the COVID pullback, we're below levels that we were before March of 2020, which is pretty crazy as well. So ARK, again, have clearly had a rough couple of years, but that's what happens when you siphon money into the economy with a whole bunch of crazy rabid retail traders, which we all benefited from, I'm sure. But yeah, well below here. Regardless, technically speaking, we're in a strong longer-term uptrend. This has been in play now since January of 2023. Holding, very textbook line of support, very textbook line of resistance. We got conservative resistance in green, absolute resistance in blue. And I think that over the next couple of months into the summer, I do think that we can make our way up to one of the definitely conservative resistance. That was, again, absolute conservative, up about 21% into June, July. And, best case scenario, I think we can make our way up, as I just alluded to, like 27%. Because this, similar to Coinbase, I don't have it drawn here, but you can see here, I'll do a quick little real-time drawing. Boop, boop, boop. Sick little inverse head and shoulders pattern here as well. Let's just throw the head on that one. Inverse head and shoulders pattern also playing out here. I wouldn't be surprised if ARK does fall a little lower to this prior high over here. Still well above all major moving averages. And, or we just rally higher. Personally, I sharked up some call options today. Again, if you guys want the specifics, that's where I'll respect existing members. If you guys do want the specifics of that, again, it's the first link in the description or in my pinned comment to join the portfolio group. But right now, looking good. I'm very, very bullish on ARK, and that leads us into AMD, which is, these guys just offered a buyback. They crushed, I wouldn't say crushed, but they presented a very impressive recent earnings report. And although I did miss, it sucks because I was literally talking about buying calls. Last Friday, they announced the buyback on Monday. Shares popped like 6%, but that's all right. That's trading. Again, that's the game. On this pullback, I chose to capitalize though. You can see here that AMD has tested this line of like macro resistance right here. Very significant, very like every trader and their mom can draw this trend line. Significant line of resistance right here, just perfectly rejected from it, but also has broken above all major moving averages as you can see over here. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The yellow glasses make it difficult to see that one. We did also get rejected by the 200-day moving average, which is this dark blue line up top here. And I do think with everything I just said, again, all that positive fundamental momentum, massive share buyback, solid earnings report, I do ultimately think that we break above this line of long-term resistance. I think that we break above that 200-day moving average. Those two are really coming to a head right now, as you can see. So if we do break above, I mean, at this point in time, if we can break, just to safely say like $1.25, if we break above $1.25 from here on, that's incredibly bullish. That would constitute a technical breakout. That would get traders excited. AMD is kind of a fan favorite amongst traders and retail investors. Very high volume stock. So really exciting stuff there. Excited to see what AMD can do in the months ahead. Picked up call options there as well. C3AI, not going to talk about that now, but as you can see in that quick little clip, C3AI is for full transparency, the largest position in my call options portfolio at the moment. Very excited to see what they can do in the weeks ahead. And again, I'll cover that in some Waves Plays members videos and of course the newsletter as well. Applied Digital is another one. Applied Digital, we did a short-term trade here over at Waves Cap. Nice short-term classic swing trade. I don't do those too often, but this one played out well. We 2x'd our Applied Digital trade over the course of a couple of days, and actually 3x our SoundHound trade over the course of a couple of days. These were 530 call options, just to give you guys an insight there. Already bought and sold them, so that's in the past now. But you can see here, Applied Digital is setting up a nice inverse head and shoulders pattern. Came up here, near perfectly tested my inverse head and shoulders target. You always want to be conservative when you're making those targets. That goes for everything. That's why, as many of you know, I do trade off of conservative trend lines, not absolute trend lines. But regardless, nice little inverse head and shoulders pattern. You can see here, I was thinking we're just going to mirror this pretty much, and that's kind of what we're doing. So I'm not getting greedy here. Maybe we come down to the bottom of this, this next leg of the potential macro, the greater inverse head and shoulders at play. So it's possible to come down to, 535 to like 540, 550. But again, we got a nice little 6% sell-off. I am happy to buy a longer-term call options position here, especially because we just made a bunch of money off of that short-term trade. Played that perfectly, by the way, so that feels very good. And I think that Applied Digital, as the company it is, I still think that this company has a lot of potential in the medium to long term. Then short term, maybe pull back a little bit, but overall, I think that over the next month or so, Applied Digital can make its way up to, again, that would be the absolute target. Just to play it conservatively, I think we can make our way up to like 790. In the case, of course, nothing's guaranteed, in the case that we do ultimately resolve this inverse head and shoulders pattern. So that brings, I was supposed to talk about, I don't know, I definitely should have done this at the top of the video, but I just remembered. I don't know if I'm going to leave it in the title or not now, but maybe. I said like moderate risk, high potential reward, or moderate risk, high reward, always potential because nothing's guaranteed once again. But the reason I say that, and like especially trading call options, it's very risky. Holding stocks is risky. Trading call options is significantly riskier. But it's all about finding that asymmetric risk profile, an appealing asymmetric risk profile, which is something that many of you, if you've been following the channel or the newsletters for any meaningful amount of time, would know about, and that's asymmetric risk profile. So asymmetric risk profile describes a situation where the potential for gains and losses are not balanced or equal. Essentially, the potential upside differs significantly from the potential downside. Okay, so in the case of a lot of these solid companies, been reporting decent earnings reports, and really just relative to a lot of the market, particularly like large and mega caps. These are everything we're talking about today is small to mid cap. I think that they will have their time to shine. I do think that capital will continue to flow out of large caps as excitement goes up, especially if we get some rate cuts on the horizon, which I do think like sentiment for that is low, and the prediction markets are leaning towards like no rate cuts sooner, I guess later than sooner now. But regardless, I still think the momentum is going to fall back in favor of small to mid caps pretty soon here. And I just think that these small to mid cap gems that we've been discussing have room to grow. Okay, so, and I do think that the upside significantly outweighs the downside. Again, call options, they can go to zero, but if you call something early, if you catch it before the big explosion happens, and I do think a big explosion to the upside in some of these cases is possible, that's when you make those life-change gains. Okay, so just wanted to give that heads up. Let's close it out with Soundhound. Soundhound also, I mean, you could say this is kind of a inverse head and shoulders pattern too here. More of a range, a little jankier than the others, but overall still came up to perfectly retest this prior low here. This was like a nice, simple, like very clear target to follow on that swing trade, which is why we 3x our return on those call options. So that felt really good. Short term, you can see here, there's another clear target here. I wouldn't be surprised if we do pull back, another like 5-6% to retest the prior high here. In which case I would personally be buying more call options, because that's kind of like buy some now, buy some on the initial pullback. It's because it's possible we just keep a ripping higher too. Buy some on the initial pullback. If we pull back to my primary pullback target, then I'll just reinforce position and lower the average cost of my overall position. Okay, so that said, this falls into a bullish, definitely optimistic scenario, but you can see here the pattern or the trading pattern, the trading technique, trading strategy that we discussed in the beginning, a broken line of support coming into play as new resistance. You can see here we were Soundhound printed a symmetrical triangle following the big sell-off, following the massive rally in November, December of last year, where we made our way all the way up to like $25, currently sitting at $11, which makes this target not so crazy. But I do think it's possible that this line of broken support, at least like this gap range right here, which kind of makes sense too, does come into play as new resistance. This is optimistic once again, but just zooming out on the chart, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if Soundhound made its way up to this like $15, $16 region in the months ahead, especially considering they just released a pretty darn impressive earnings report here. You can see beat on EPS, beat on revenue. The revenue numbers were good. You can go look into that if you'd like, but I'm just here to talk about the plays I'm excited about, shark these up, and I'm excited for what the future has in store. I'm excited for what the future has in store for Bitcoin, our Bitcoin mining call options, and Riot and HUD. And again, if you want to join the trading team, if you want a full breakdown of my portfolio that's updated daily, all my flash trades, trade analysis, newsletters, first thing in the description. Let me know in the comments below what you're thinking about all this. What stocks are you excited about? And I'll catch you next time. Until then, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.